everyone. Yes, it has been a month, but you know, it's never too late to wish one a happy new year. Alright, I do hope you had a good one and that 2021 will be a very good year for all of us. I had a lovely one, quite quiet, but I did enjoy quite a few glasses of champagne and Jules Holland on BBC One, so can one wish for more? I mean, yeah, sure, but I am going to spare you that list now. Thank you very much for tuning in, and a very warm welcome to all of those who have not been here before. I am Beatrice Benedek, the creative director of Benedek Productions, and I shall be your host in today's show of the artists behind the art. This is a series of interviews with European and UK-based artists, and today's the second episode. Hooray! Today's guest is a very dear friend of mine. She's a brilliant choreographer and dancer and project manager and, well, you name it. So, and you know what? Let's just crack on and let her talk you through her entire journey thus far and where she is at the moment. Yes, with that said, enjoy. Unfold Motion. Its humble beginnings cease in 2013 when it started off as a dance company, and then later on it established itself as a registered company. I think it was one of the few independent dance companies in Romania of that time. I might be wrong, but I hope our guest will tell us later on if I was wrong. But Unfold Motion, sorry guys, I will be using my notes again. Unfold Motion had numerous national and international collaborations with all sorts of dance companies from all around Europe and the UK. Some of them would be from Malta, like the Moveo Dance Company. The other one is Project Action Potential in the UK. Other ones include Horsens in Denmark and many, many more. I mean, if you are really interested, you can just go online on their Facebook page or website and you can look it up yourselves. But alongside these collaborations, they have developed quite a lot of beautiful partnerships with loads of cultural institutions in Romania. Like, for example, the German theatre in Timisoara, which is one of my favorites too. But not only, they are active members of Timisoara 2021, the European cultural capital for 2021, which has been postponed to 2023. But I am sure she will probably mention more of that in the following. But of course, putting companies aside and institutions aside, Unfold Motion has also seen numerous projects with independent artists coming from different artistic backgrounds as well. So obviously, main focus are performers, dance performers, but they have worked with actors too, with photographers, videographers, sound designers, lighting designers, fashion designers. So honestly, they are a very eclectic bunch, and if you're looking for any opportunities to work with them, again, do not hesitate to get in touch with them. So having said all of that, I will say this, I do think that Unfold Motion is a haven for artists and performance opportunities, especially within the dance and performance scene in Romania, and they definitely contribute to the development of this scene. And you know what? I think they are also very European in their approach, because they're using multidisciplinary, quality-driven projects, cultural and artistic projects, to make a difference. So I think that is such a noble thing to do and achieve in a very short amount of time. I mean, yeah, sure, 8 years. 8? My maths are not good, are they? Anyway, but like in a very short amount of time, they have achieved so much. And the mastermind behind all of this is my guest, who is invited today as my second guest for the artist behind the art. And her name is Lavinia Urcan, and she's the choreographer and artistic director of Unfold Motion. And recently, quite recently, she's been also honored with an award by the National Center for Dance and Choreography in Romania for her hard work and contribution and determination to make a difference within the independent arts sector in Romania. Right, so without further ado, shall we see what she has to say? Hello, Lavinia.
Hi, and thanks for having me. I'm very honored to be invited.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you for accepting this invitation. I'm actually quite excited, and I think you viewers, you might have seen, and my voice is a bit trembling because I'm so excited. I am a bit nervous as well, but thank you so much for accepting this invitation. It's such an honor to have you here, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say about yourself, your art, and Unfold Motion. Oh, but before we do that, shall we toast? Yes, cheers. Cheers, girl.
And about the excitement and the nervousness, that makes two of us, so don't worry.
Phew. Lavinia, would you want to tell the larger public, the wider public, sorry guys, what is with me today? The wider audience, more about yourself?
Sure, with pleasure. You covered quite a lot of all the information, but I will just come with snippets of it. Thank you for that. So I'm a graduate of the Faculty of International Relations and European Studies at the University of Bucharest, and I also have a master's degree in project management also at the University of Bucharest. And then in 2015, I graduated with Bachelor of Arts in Dance Studies with specific on choreography from the Middlesex University, London. After all this institutional education, I continued my professional development by taking part in international workshops and residencies of contemporary dance for professionals. As you said, I am currently a choreographer, artistic director and project manager for the Unfold Motion dance company, only contemporary dance company in the western part of the country, and I think it's one of the few independent companies in the country. And the company is founded by myself in 2013. Seems quite a while ago. Within the company, I coordinate the dance productions, both our own productions and the commissions, as a choreographer, dance teacher and director. I also organize and contribute to the organization of local contemporary dance events. I must add that Unfold is a key actor for the Timisoara European Capital of Culture 2023 now. Therefore, we get to collaborate with a lot of national and local cultural institutions. Outside the company, I work with national, independent and state theaters as a choreography and movement director, and movement director. And I also work with international dance companies. And I want to mention again Moveo Dance Company from Malta, for which I was a tour manager a few years ago.
Right, so you have covered quite a lot of what you have done and with whom you have collaborated and how you work both as a choreographer in Unfold Motion but also as individual artist at the end of the day for different institutions, you know. I do wonder though, why this specific art though? I mean, you have mentioned that you've started off with European Studies and International Relations in Bucharest, which by the way I have done as well, and then you got to dance and choreography. And it's really interesting because my previous invited guest Andrea, she's done the exact same thing. She's studied something and only to get back to photography at one point. So it sort of seems that we artists somehow loop around around the roundabout, you know. We do U-turns, we do detours until we finally get to what we want to do and what we are doing at the moment. So how did it come to choreography and dance, and why specifically choreography and dance?
I started by taking dance classes at the National Center of Dance in Bucharest as a hobby while I was a student at the University of Bucharest. And at that time, contemporary dance was not very available or within reach, even if it was the capital. But as I started to enjoy it more and more, I took some private classes with the teachers from the ballet high school from Bucharest, which somehow led me to audition for Middlesex University. Don't ask me how, I just found myself there. It's funny because I took the audition more like an experience for my hobby rather than to get in, and I got in. I still cannot believe it. It was, I took it seriously because I loved to dance, but I never imagined I could get in. And then while I was in uni, I got many impulses from my teachers to create during school breaks. So every holiday or summer break, I came to Timisoara to do that. And I remember it was the summer break of the first year, going into the second year, when we gathered a group of dance enthusiasts and created Unfold Motion's first performance, which is called What You See. And it was also about the time when we came up with the name Unfold Motion. The group was founded by people who weren't professionals, including me. I was a student, and I worked with acting student, a graphic designer, and two IT guys who were very, very enthusiastic, and they really loved to move. And I think that's why we managed to make a professional dance performance. To be honest, I think when I look back, it took us some guts to do that. And it was an unexpected success. I think it's the performance with the most representations in our whole repertoire, because at that time, in 2013, there was literally no dance in Timisoara, except for the dance that was included in the theater performances in the state theaters, but no dance performance per se. So maybe that's why the audience was so thirsty for dance. And at the same time, in the same summer break, I also started teaching, but I only loved it after a few years, when I started to trust my teaching skills more, and when I've had much more information for myself in order to share it with the others. So I think the teaching part is a ongoing situation that I started to love it more and more as much as I learn by going with it. Yeah.
Oh wow. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, myself and Lavinia, we know each other for quite a while now, you know, and I do consider her one of my best friends, obviously, and we've talked about quite a lot of things, from how she started and so on and so forth. But, you know, these things are new things for me too, so I'm really excited that you mentioned them. I didn't know, for example, that was one of your one of the shows that had the most representations. You know, it's new thing for me too, and I'm really, it just shows how eclectic Unfold Motion is, to start off with people who are not in any way whatsoever connected with dance, you know, and they manage to do something that still resounds nowadays really strongly in Lavinia's life. It's fabulous, girl. Fantastic.
To be more precise, I think it had 25 25 representations,
Oh my-
which is a lot for a small city like Timisoara.
Yeah, absolutely.
25 with the tour and going out of the city.
Absolutely. My goodness, wow, fantastic. So is this then, would you pinpoint this summer break as the moment where you started thinking more about choreography and then moving into this direction? Was this the moment that was sort of the eureka moment of you as a choreographer?
Yeah, I can say it's that. It's a combination of that moment when we had our first performance and we had so much success for a community dance company. But it was also the feeling that choreography chose me in a way. When I was in uni, we studied both dance performance and choreography, and by the third year you had to choose what you want to be when you grow up, choreographer or dancer. And I knew it from the first year. I just felt it in the first year that I need to do that. And what you see show just came on top of that in a way. While I was at Middlesex, I kept getting excellent feedback as a choreographer and a dance maker, and I didn't know what that was at that moment. I didn't know how to be a choreographer in my first year. And my academic tutor, Louise Kelsey, which is an amazing teacher and choreographer, and not only her, encouraged me to take this path. Like, from the first year, they told me, you should do that. Even if you enjoy dance, I think you should go into choreography, which was okay because that's what I felt to do anyway. So it was a win-win situation, because in the back of my mind I always enjoyed directing dances rather than being put out there on the stage. I love the spotlight, but I love being backstage more.
Yeah.
In a way.
It's so great when tutors actually can see the spark of excellence in a pupil and then encourage them to do that, because I mean I hear loads and loads of stories where that's not the case, where students are just looked at as numbers, who can pay salaries, but I will not get political, okay? You already mentioned one of your tutors, and I suppose that with every artist or with every discipline that an artist chooses, there must be some sort of a spark of inspiration behind it. I do wonder what is or what was or what is still your inspiration when you're creating, or even beforehand, or I mean, obviously it can be anything, it can be people, it can be objects, it can be a moment, a smell, or anything. So I'm really curious to hear, what is your inspiration source?
I cannot put my finger on a certain moment or person or thing, because there are very many and they have a special place in my heart. I think it's a sum of factors that inspired me and drove me to choose this path. But I have a starting point, which was seeing my first live dance performances here in Romania by Gigi Căciuleanu, which is an amazing choreographer. And then I watched Pina Bausch online because she was very mainstream at that time. I think it was the period when the movie came up as well. And then I felt the urge to be on the stage and dreamt that one day I will achieve that. But at that moment I never imagined I would be where I am today. It was a full-on fantasy, to be honest. It was like a full-on daydreaming. About the things that inspire me, it can be literally anything. I don't need to be somewhere to be inspired, I just need to be with myself. It can be a movie, a ride with a train, a poem, a book. I think you just need to get an idea to have that idea as an inspiration. And I think most important is that you need to assume that, to embody that idea, because you have to live with that idea for the whole creating process. So you have to choose carefully, in a way. Yeah.
That's so, like, it's so remarkable. I think I can feel with you on that, because I feel the same with regards to inspiration. It can be literally anything, but I will definitely put my finger on one of the things that you've said at the very beginning, and that is you need the guts to be with yourself and be alone with yourself, and allow yourself to be with yourself in order to then come to an idea that you can then develop, and also take responsibility for that idea, because many people I don't want to generalize, but the majority of people don't take responsibility for the for the ideas that they put out there. So I think that's a very brave move to do. Yeah, great. I think, shall we, ladies and gentlemen, shall we show you a bit of a work from Lavinia now, because we've talked about inspiration now, and we did ask Lavinia to share some photographs, some trailers if she has with us, and we sort of mutually decided that we will show one of them, which I myself love very much. And Lavinia also mentioned that it's one of her soul works of art. Right, oh my goodness. So, I must say, ladies and gentlemen, it is one of my favorite shows that I have seen from Unfold Motion, and actually from the array of shows I have seen, dance performance I have seen in my life, this is one of my is my favorites, and I very much would like to see it in 2021 too. Just hinting there's something, Lavinia, just hinting there's something. Yeah, right, well, obviously because you have created it, would you like to tell us more about the thought process behind, or not even, but what do you think is important for us and the wider public to know about this show?
It was my second show after What You See, I was still a student. And while being in my second year and doing a lot of dance technique in my second year, I've done Graham, Humphrey, Cunningham, ballet, and so on. I got very inspired by those techniques, and I got really into the aesthetics of dance. And I wanted to go a bit further away from the organic that I was used to, and create a more aesthetic, neoclassical dance performance. And that's why I chose to work with ballet dancers from the National Opera from Timisoara. And it's not like it doesn't have any depth or concept, even though it's aesthetic. It's based on the androgynous myth of Platon. I think you all know about it. And basically that was our our plot, our dramaturgy, our whole scenery of the performance. So I read the book, I made a scenario, and I went to the studio with the ballet dancers and taught them the movement that I wanted to show the world, based on that story. And it was quite challenging for me, because it was the first time as a very emergent choreographer that I had to teach movement. I wasn't used to do that. I usually worked until then with being driven by them, and then them being driven by me. But this one was different. I had to really give them everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got very, very inspired by the shapes and the aesthetics of the three techniques that I studied very, very intense in uni. It's a very liked show here in Romania. Everyone still asks for it. It's a very hard one to put it back again on stage, because they're all ballet dancers and they have a lot of work to do, and it's quite hard to bring them together and to redo it. And it's a hard one. Technique-wise, you need a very long time to rehearse.
Yeah, I think you were mentioning the aesthetics and the concept and the forms as well. Like from the very moment I've seen it, I could understand. I mean, it's a bit like Stanley Kubrick on on a dance floor, you know. It's like a painting unfolding in front of you, definitely, and the symmetry and geometry behind the concept has really inspired me a lot. You know, it's just simple but so effective. You know, and as you said, the simplest things actually require the most work, you know, hours and hours of rehearsals, and then juggling the timetables of ballet dancers as well. So yeah, so thank you very much for sharing that with us, Lavinia. Very insightful and very personal, I think. And I think that's what makes the artist behind the art quite special, because we can have these open discussions about the ways we feel as artists ourselves. But let's be a bit more cheerful, and I would like to ask you though, what would you consider success from your point of view?
Well, I don't have a definition of success, and I certainly don't have the key to success. But I have some pinpoints which I guide myself from. So that's what I can tell you. First of all, would be to love what you do. It can be a strength, but it can also be a weakness, because the focus is so obsessive. When I go for something, I go for it at the expense of everything else. I love what I do, and I feel so lucky that I'm allowed to do it, and that I get to do it for a living now.
Yes.
Then always trust your gut, Be on time. Never underestimate the importance of punctuality. Be prepared. Be true to yourself. A hard one would be deal with rejection. Be persistent. Connect with people. When you make a connection with people, when they tell you they've been moved by something or they relate to something that you've made, it's all about connection. It comes from my own passion as an audience member. I remember my whole world being changed, the way that I saw the world through dance and performing arts. Try out different things.
Yeah.
Because we are constantly in constant, so remember what we've talked in the beginning with loads of university attendings. Know your craft. Have compassion. Compassion is about, in my opinion, is about understanding, and compassion is without ego. I don't know how that can work on a performing artist, but compassion is without ego. And last but not least, and very important, have fun. So those are my pinpoints for success.
Oh my god, like girl, this is an entire tree of things that one can take from what you have said, and I love them. I absolutely love them because, again, as I said before, I do relate to each one of them, absolutely. And it's, as you said, it's hard to stick by them, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. I particularly like the compassion one, how to leave your ego outside of this and things. So obviously, at the end of the day, you are creating work, you are creating stuff, so it's your name all over that thing. And it's very difficult not to fall into that other extreme or other side of, oh, yeah, it is my work, so please hail me, And I do think it is definitely a work in progress in terms of trying to stay with both feet on the ground and not let yourself be, taken away by a sudden or short success story, because a success story can only be reviewed after years and years and years of doing it, and see what you have actually achieved. And you, girl, have achieved a lot in the past.
Thank you, you're so kind.
Yeah, but seriously, I mean, as I said, just open up that website and you'll see quite a lot of things, and then look up your Facebook site and your Instagram page, and then you see even more of the things that you have achieved. So well done to sticking to your pinpoints, Lavinia. Yeah. Right, Lavinia, I was just wondering, would you be interested in playing a little game?
Sure.
I hope it's going to make sense. Basically, I am going to say a word, and you need to sort of tell me a thing or an image or the first word that comes up in your mind that is associated to this word. So let's do a little tester. Can you give me a word, and I'll come with an association?
Blue.
Sky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay,
Yeah,
so I am going to
judgment.
put. I'm not going to put any timer on. Let's just see how it goes, okay? Yeah. Okay, great. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right. So the first word is book.
Sapiens.
Okay. Hat.
Cat.
Painting.
Modigliani.
Okay. Wow. Rose.
Passion.
Coffee.
Love.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's interesting. Dance.
Breath.
Okay. Theater.
Life.
Martha Graham.
Oh, contraction.
Oh. Brilliant. Okay, I think that's enough words for today. Our viewers will have to listen to quite a few before and after this. Okay. I asked this from every person. I know it's a bit of a cliche word, but question, but I don't care. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. So you've given us lots and lots of beautiful points on what success means to you, and to a certain extent, I myself think that these words could be taken as advice too. But is there anything else that you might want to add as an advice to people who are wanting to start out, maybe in the same field as yourself?
Yeah, I know the success part covered a lot of the advice, but I think I can speak a bit more about that. If you don't mind. So you need to, first of all, you need to have faith in yourself, to be patient, to be aware of what's going on around you in the field, to be present, never stop searching, never stop believing in your craft, be constant, take breaks. Take breaks. Take care of your body as much as you tell your dancers to do it. That's very highlighted. Remember that you can do it if you want to. And the more metaphorical or philosophical approach would be that the more authentic and honest you are in your interaction with the world, both professionally and personally, the better you will be placed to do the kind of work which will touch others and move their hearts and minds.
Yeah.
Because if you really mean it, the chances are it's gonna mean something to somebody else. And last, I think, but not the least, of course, remember that people will always have an idea of who they think you are. That's not just about the art, it's in general. And you mustn't let them change your own sense of who you are. You have to protect this with everything you have. And I think that's both for your personal life and your professional life in the end. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, that's it. I mean, that is like literally an entire Bible of things already. Thank you so much for sharing this. And I think it's quite universal. It's not like only for the dancers, it's for everyone, basically, anyone. And as you said, both professionally as well as personally. Is there anything from all of the above that you would advise to your younger self, or is there something else that you would want to advise to your younger self if you would be put, face to face with her now?
Taking care of your body as much as you tell your dancers to. And to be patient and constant, and to remember to take breaks.
Yeah.
The one about authenticity and honesty, I think, yeah. Because sometimes you get lost in the process, and you don't want to, but you kind of lose your authenticity, and you kind of lose yourself on the way of being true to yourself. And you have to stop and remind yourself why you are doing that. First of all, because you have to stay true to yourself and to your craft, I think. Yeah. That would be the advice for my younger self.
Yeah. Oh, and that's so lovely. That is so lovely. And the thing is, Lavinia, even though you cannot go back to your younger self, you're already incorporating all these things in your daily life. And as I, because, dear audience, I know Lavinia for a while now, and she's not just preaching for the sake of preaching. She's actually taking her own advice quite seriously. So I think it is safe to say that what you've just said now to us, you actually have done in the past few years anyway. So that's lovely. Right, so I think we are coming slowly towards the end of our second episode of The Artist Behind the Art, and Lavinia, let me take the chance to thank you again for accepting this invitation. And just before we wrap it up properly, I think this is the moment where you can sort of do a bit of self-promotion. Where can our lovely audience find you? What sort of mediums would they be able to access? What languages can they look it up? So basically anything anywhere that you are out there in the online world would do. So the stage is yours.
First of all, thank you again for having me, and it was a really big pleasure, and I still am very excited to do this. Yes, we have a lot of platforms. We kind of are everywhere, so you can find us on our website, unfoldmotion.com, very simple. Then all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Vimeo, both with, not both, all of them with /unfoldmotion after the website's name. Facebook, Vimeo, and Instagram /unfoldmotion. Very simple. And they're all in English. We rarely post in Romanian, so it's reachable for everyone. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you ever so much for joining us today. Do follow us, like us, share us, sharing is caring on your social media platforms. But until the next time, take care of yourselves. Hopefully we shall see each other again in end of next month. Yes. But until then, all the best, and thank you for tuning in at The Artist Behind the Art.